Many years ago, a solitary stone coated with ancient hieroglyphics was found on the desolate plains of south-central Turkey. Written in Luwian, the language of Bronze Age and Iron Age Anatolia, it referred to a king, Hartapu. No one had any idea who this king was, or even what kingdom he ruled. For decades, the stone remained a total mystery. Now, in 2020, the riddle may finally be solved. Turkey is one of the most fascinating countries to visit on the planet. At the very crossroads of Europe and Asia, where East meets West, cultures, civilizations, and kingdoms have thrived for well over 10,000 years. Turkey has so much history that its government very often deems it not important enough to save from flooding and dams, to create drinking water and power for local people. Luckily, such world-famous and important sites like Göbekli Tepe and Çatalhöyük, to Bronze Age sites like the Hittite capital Hattushas, and even Roman underground cities, 2,000-year-old tunnel networks stretching for mile upon mile have survived. One may be forgiven for thinking that given the sheer amount of incredible sites from the Stone Age all the way up to the present, that Turkey may have already given up all of its secrets. Well, as an international team of archaeologists discovered this year, after a tip-off from a local farmer who had come across a large and unusual piece of rock covered in ancient writing on his land, this is far from the truth. This year, an entire kingdom previously unknown in both the written record and archaeology was discovered not far from the city of Konya on Turkey's central plains, also home to the ancient city of Çatalhöyük. What's more, based on Luwian inscriptions found in the area, an ancient Indo-European Anatolian language, also spoken by the Trojans of Trojan War fame, this kingdom, a powerful Iron Age force, in fact destroyed the might of a much more famous ruler, known to us today because of a Greek legend. For he was King Midas of Phrygia, the ruler with the golden touch. Immortalized by the later historian Herodotus, a Greek living upon the shores of Asia Minor. Alongside the likes of Croesus of Lydia and the Gordian Knot, half-remembered tales dating from a few hundred years before Herodotus' time, which do clearly have a small amount of truth in them. In the tale, as Herodotus tells it, Midas, a whimsical ruler obsessed with wealth and luxury, was said to have bartered with the god Dionysus to attain the ability to turn everything he touched into gold, ultimately turning his beloved daughter to gold before finally relenting and giving up the power, before offending the god Apollo and living out the rest of his days with donkey's ears. A strange tale it may seem, but given what we know now, maybe it began as a cautionary story about a ruler who amasses too much wealth without giving it back to his people, ultimately leading to their demise. For according to the inscriptions discovered this year, the as yet unnamed kingdom found in Turkey ruled by Hartapu, completely absent from the story, is the one which destroyed Midas. The stone tells the story of Hartapu's conquest of the nearby kingdom of Muska, better known as Phrygia. The nearby mound of Türkmen-Karahöyük was probably his capital city. This site, identified as a major archaeological site in 2017, was occupied from around 3500 to 100 BC. And researchers now believe at its height it covered around 300 acres, making it one of the largest ancient cities of Bronze Age and Iron Age Turkey, putting it up there with the likes of the Lycians, the Phrygians, the Hittites and the Trojans. It's probable that Midas wasn't a worshipper of the Greek gods at all, this being a later Greek projection, but Anatolian sky deities, akin to those of the Hittites. The stone reads, "The storm gods delivered the opposing kings to his majesty." There is a reason why we know so little about this era. Within a few generations of Midas and Hartapu's time, the Achaemenid Persians smashed their way through Anatolia, subduing every Anatolian state, and very nearly the Greeks too. Whilst they did have writing, very little survives. Only time will tell what lies under the mound at Türkmen-Karahöyük. Of course, the jackpot would be more inscriptions, perhaps even telling the history of this long-lost kingdom. Watch this space. You've been watching Archaeology News. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one.